So like we said, this is going to be a pretty Super Bowl heavy episode, but that's kind of what the Super Bowl is for, is to throw everything off. You got a nice, calm NFL season, and now you have this massive spectacle that gets hijacked by commercials and halftime shows. And
that's kind of the bummer of it.
It's really...
Wait, who...
it's Shakira and J-Lo.
Okay.
So it's not... I mean, it's not terrible, but, I mean...
I can't remember the last time I watched a halftime show. I don't care at all.
Well, I mean, I think it's hard with kids, too, because usually at halftime is when I'm going from, like, my parents' home to get the kids down.
Oh, yeah.
Miss the halftime show, miss the first 5-10 minutes of the third quarter, and then jump back in. So, but let's do a quick preview here of the Super Bowl. We'll just have a good conversation about it. So we talked last week about how, just as a sports fan in general, I think this is really just a perfect matchup. Not that half the people watching really care and know what's going to happen, but it's a really good matchup. You got two very good teams, probably the two of the best teams. I think that's
fair.
Actually have that this year, which is awesome. Before we really dig into it, I'll go through the kind of the betting side of Sunday and what Vegas really thinks is going to happen. So currently the Chiefs are a 1.5 point favorite, and the 49ers against the 49ers, and based on where the over under is at 54.5, they kind of expect a 25 to 30 point game for each team. They expect a close game and mid to high
really
scoring.
Close.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting.
1.5 point spread, and then 54.5. I mean, this is like the most average or basic.
Yeah. They're basically like all of us. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, they're right in the middle here.
So let's just take.
Punt.
Yeah, let's just take the easiest numbers and roll with it. And
has that moved? Has
it
that moved a lot?
It hasn't. No.
Okay.
And I'm actually really surprised that the Chiefs are the 1.5 point favorite. I don't know where you guys stand on that, but
yeah, I was a little surprised because the 49ers have been so dominant through the playoffs.
Yeah.
I guess I would say too. I would say the 49ers would be the 1.5 point, but it's not really like that's some huge swing.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's
But what we saw, I guess, with the Chiefs against both.
Yeah.
What did they play 3? No, just play 2, right?
Yeah. Yep. They played 2.
So I mean, what they did against the Texans was unreal. Everybody's like, "Oh gosh, these guys are unstoppable."
Yeah. Texans, and then they beat Tennessee, who looked unstoppable on the ground and all that stuff. So
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think really where the spread comes in is when you look at the quarterback matchup here. You got Mahomes versus Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think there's any question that Mahomes is the better quarterback, and I think that's where the 1.5 really comes from. Is Vegas is going to bet on the offense more times than not. So I'm curious where you guys stand on that matchup alone.
The quarterback matchup.
Yeah, the quarterback matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Mahomes has to be the favorite. He's the guy. He's the league MVP last year. I don't know. I mean, he just doesn't seem like he can be stopped through the entire course of a game. People always talk about how he hasn't had a bad game. Statistically, he's had maybe 2 bad games, and maybe one of them was against the Lions, you could argue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, this guy just doesn't make those mistakes. So it doesn't matter if somebody pressures him because he gets away, and then he just makes the right choice. And it's like Aaron Rodgers in his prime, really. It's just it doesn't matter if there's, like, blitz percentages against him. He does pretty well against the blitz. And last time he started running the ball and ran for that touchdown to – that was an amazing touchdown run.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, so it just doesn't seem like he can really be stopped. So it's up to the 49ers to give him something that he hasn't seen.
Yeah, yep.
Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, all the pressure's on him, really. If this game turns into a shootout, we don't know what kind of nerves he has.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. It's funny because, Mahomes is the better quarterback, in my opinion. But it's like, while I'm agreeing with everything Ryan just said, it's like Jimmy G has just kind of quietly led this team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. No,
not by himself, obviously, but and again, Mahomes.
Yeah, and look, I get that people are going to say Mahomes is the better quarterback. There's no question, but I think people are sleeping on what Jimmy Garoppolo has done. I mean, he 16 regular season games. He threw for just under 4,000 yards with a 248.6 yards per game, 27-13 touchdown interception, and had a 102 quarterback rating. That's no slouch. And I feel like the perception of Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers is he's a game manager. It's the defense. It's the run game that's led them here. And, yeah, it has, but that's just in the playoffs because that's all they needed. And I feel like that's where like Ryan brought it up last week perfectly. It's like they haven't opened up their playbook. They haven't had to. They've been
true.
able to keep everything under wraps here, and I mean he's proven that he can. I mean, he had a heck of a game against the Saints, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know, I think he had 300 plus yards, maybe even 349 yards and 4 touchdowns. In a 48-46 game. So like
Yeah.
they can compete. And honestly, the Saints probably have a overall better defense than the Chiefs. So
Yeah, they probably do. I mean, I agree with you. Everything you're saying, I completely agree with. I think he's a really good quarterback. And they went from being an up-and-coming team last year when he got hurt for the season, and then they were an awful team after that. So
Yeah.
he obviously has a lot of value to that team and makes them a lot better. He's more than a game manager, absolutely. The problem is you still can't answer the question of nerves in the biggest game
Yeah.
in the world
That's true.
this year because he hasn't done it.
yeah,
And,
I agree.
And we see that over and over and over with Mahomes. Yeah, he hasn't played in a Super Bowl, but he performs in every big game in the playoff in his playoff career. Jimmy Garoppolo just hasn't had to. So
Yep.
the only downside, the only knock on him is he hasn't won an MVP, and we don't know his nerves in the playoffs.
So
yeah.
true.
Yeah. I mean, but a 21-5 career record
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Jimmy. Like,
Yeah, I
that's
mean, it's
insane.
undeniable.
People don't realize it took him a year and a half or something to get his first loss due to injury. He missed some games and stuff like that. I mean, I think his first loss was week 2 of last year or something like that. And I mean, but he was
It's like
undefeated until he got hurt.
Yeah. It's like he's good, but Mahomes is an MVP.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah, people are already talking about Mahomes being the best talented quarterback we've ever seen in the league. Right after the Aaron Rodgers talk, people are jumping off that ship and jumping on
Very quickly.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
What was it in that Lions Chiefs game? I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, there was so much. You really want me to get? So it was the 99-yard fumble return for a touchdown.
That's what I'm
And it
thinking.
was
Okay.
the 4th and 8 on the last drive of the game that the
No.
Lions couldn't stop them.
Oh, wasn't it like 4th and 15?
I thought it was 4th and 8, but you
Oh,
might be
okay.
right.
Yeah. But
It was so much.
Time
Lions were
after
so
time.
stinking close winning that game, and thanks for that, Kyle. I thought we were done talking about the Lions. For
we
a
were
while.
that close to winning a Super Bowl.
This
I'm
is
just
Super
thinking-
Bowl Sunday. We're not supposed to be talking about the
I'm
Lions.
just thinking
That's written in
if-
stone.
if
That was
the
the 13th
Chiefs-
commandment.
If the Chiefs win, we can say we almost beat
We
them.
almost beat them. Yeah, right.
That's true.
It
Go
seems
Chiefs.
to be like the biggest
Yeah, go
Lions.
Chiefs.
That was the biggest Lions almost win in years.
Oh man.
All right, so we'll jump down to basically just how can the 49ers win this game. I'll start. I think the 49ers can win this game if they just continue to get pressure on the quarterback while rushing 3 or 4. Look, you're going against Mahomes and the Chiefs that have weapons coming out of every single direction. You got Sammy Watkins, the whole Travis Kelce. There's another one. I can't think of his name. They have a ton of Tyreek Hill. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Tyreek Hill. Yeah.
Just so many weapons for Mahomes, and then you got Damian Williams as well, who's a pretty solid running back when he needs to be, and then you got Mahomes as well that can run the ball. So basically, I feel like the 49ers need to get pressure on Mahomes while not sacrificing coverage, and if they can do that, I think they're going to be in control of this type of game.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. I can bring up another one, but that's probably the best one. Yeah.
Do you have one that,
Well,
that stood out to you?
I mean, from the 49ers perspective, yes, they need to get pressure on the quarterback, but on the offensive side, I know how good their defense is, but I still don't think you can stop the Chiefs throughout the whole game.
Okay.
So they have to open up their playbook. I was reading something about how bad the Chiefs are against the run,
Yeah.
in a fullback set, like
Okay.
when in the I formation.
Which,
And the 49ers run like 46% of their plays with an I formation.
yeah,
Oh.
like that
Easily
plays
top in the
perfectly
NFL.
into the 49ers.
Yeah,
game.
so
That's interesting.
That's
I
good
didn't
info.
see the set thing, but
That's
that's
solid
really cool.
info.
and,
right
and
there.
Jimmy Garoppolo is one of the most efficient passers coming out of a play action.
Okay.
So I think the 49ers need to just stay in that I formation as much as possible, especially early, because the Chiefs have been working on that,
Yeah.
and throw out of it early. I mean, that would be the unpredictable thing to do. That would be my let's be clever kind of way of going about it. They probably won't because they're still under the assumption you guys cannot stop us no matter what, and we're going to prove it. But I just think the 49ers have so many options out of that I formation because the Chiefs will be practicing against that just nonstop against
Yeah.
that formation because
Yeah,
they
for
know
sure.
that matchup is there.
Yeah, and I misspoke. I said Travis Kelce when I was talking about the 49ers. I actually meant George Kittle is the tight end, and I think he's a perfect example of who kind of benefits in that formation. He's a good blocker. He can also catch the ball and get downfield. So that's really, I think, the biggest weapon. They're going to run the ball until they can't. I think that's what we're proving. You're going against a bad run defense, so they're going to try to pound the ball until they really don't have to anymore, and they're gonna have they have the weapons to throw downfield as well. You got Deebo Samuel, you got George Kittle, and basically just everything. They have a great offense line. They got the creativity in Kyle Shanahan as an offensive coordinator. and
Emmanuel
head coach.
Sanders.
Emmanuel Sanders is another good one. Yeah, I mean, I think they have the weapons if and when they have to use them. So it'll be interesting to see. I really think this offense will be able to move the ball against the Chiefs defense personally. So, and they're
If
going
I
to have to.
If I can add to this, like Sam, what you said. I mean, the first thing I think of is stopping Mahomes somehow, some way.
Yeah.
They got to score early.
Yeah.
The 49ers have to score early because I think over the course of 4 quarters, Mahomes is going to figure out that defense.
Yeah.
So and we've seen him make these amazing comebacks in multiple games. I think if you go down 14-20, I think he's got you right where because then it's going to get worse. I think.
And then it's Garoppolo has to beat.
Yes, and then I think like Ryan was saying, he's unproven.
Yeah.
I think the 49ers have to score early.